极致了，已经极致了。这个防守没有再比这个防守更好的防守了。妈，这雷诺真的能扛！牛逼牛逼牛逼！这个防守真的屌。这样的话，整个局面有感觉打回来了呀，已经。雷诺是有科技的，你看防守为什么能那么好吗？防守，看到人都傻了，这种局面。给你的，哎呀，给我们刚才那个局面此一时彼一时啊！妈，这个时候就不能赢了呀！这时候你妈的让雷诺给我就好了。雷诺现在让我打，我觉得我能赢。这很简单，现在就是我蟑螂不停的情况下，对不对？我直接下个龙塔。对吧？大哥又没科技的，我反正蟑螂不停的，我蟑螂有一防的，马上一攻也好了。他妈的，这种东西就是时空背景不同呀，对不对嘛？看到没有？是不是下飞龙塔？这种就是下飞龙塔。对吧？农民看着补，蟑螂不要停，尽量不要停，省得你打我一波。
It's almost dead even. The resources lost tab as well. Very, very close between them.
大哥很难受啊，因为大哥是没有任何的经济去攀科技的。他现在要防的是你一攻一防的蟑螂一波，所以说对于他来说，现在农民都要算着补。但是突然待会儿不要多雷这一波，哎呀进去了。那不管进不进去嘛，就飞龙塔好了，就5、6条飞龙就够了，最多7条，对吧？我给你看到飞龙也是好事，其实，不过没看到的话可能会更好一点。龙塔好了，出6、7条飞龙，然后200人口的一攻一防蟑螂火蟑螂顶脸，你出智者也没用。
That spire got scouted out, and he did keep it. He didn't cancel it or anything. He is still going for very heavy upgrades on his roaches. Maybe going to go with a fairly small mutaflock in this matchup, but.
大哥经验很丰富啊，他知道他挡不住这个200人口的蟑螂火蟑螂，所以说他第一时间出了地刺。出地刺的话是有机会能挡住的。这个地刺属于是强行跳地刺出来。雷诺现在飞龙出来之后就清，把你天空先清一下，天空清一下之后就开始猛按蟑螂了。把图控一下就好了，真的不用多，这个飞龙完全不用多，就5条飞龙。半个小时到这盘到可能不用吧。这雷诺不用想的，就200人口蟑螂火蟑螂，妈的跟你干到底啊！当然也有可能会换，那唯一换的可能就是看到地刺。那这时候看到第4飞龙看到第4的话，那可能会选择，对吧？想想刚才那么大优势，就是各种乱冲，然后把自己冲死，那可能会这个时候看到第4怎么办？打，其实能打掉一个，看到3个第4，他觉得还有机会。不就3个第4嘛？他还是要冲，但是你看他明显就留后手了。打完升3本了，这个上还是要上一上，看看情况。就是说我不会说往死里打一波。
But the important aspect for Reynor is that he has these Ravagers. He needs to be able to corrosive bile the Lurkers.
He certainly does. He's also going to be hitting 2-1 in 10 seconds. So that's something to consider here. It's going to be at a 2 upgrade advantage, but Lurkers are damn good. They will absolutely even out the score. In fact, bring it into Dark's favor. Look at Dark, by the way. Despite being under this pressure, he's like, you know what? Gonna get burrow and tunneling claws. Crazy.
想从这个地方直接冲过去，但冲不了啊，这路口太小了。你妈，你真的拉也就拉进去了，也就2个地刺，妈个鸡，就看你敢不敢拉。明显他不敢拉的，他剩3本，他怎么会去拉地刺阵嘛？
But at this point, I think enough lurkers have been morphed in that it's going to be very difficult for Reynor to find an opportunity unless he can find some corrosive vials on some of these lurkers, which he hasn't been able to do just yet.
You can really sense it. Reynor doesn't want this to go to the ultra late game again. He absolutely doesn't. And he, oh, nice little dodge last second there. And oh, tries to get that Ravager with a few of those, or rather the lurker with a few of those
冲不了，但雷诺又有点急了打的。
Oh my goodness！
虽然他现在为止经济还是领先于大可，但是别那么急啊，稳着点，对吧？而且你有飞龙的这个科技的，你有龙塔的科技，而且还有飞龙在，待会儿3本了之后真的可以重动，对吧？重动，然后飞龙看视野直接重动，然后打多线。 但我一直认为ZVZ 的这个后期的进攻手段，重动虽然说是不错的一个选择，但是最好的选择还是你变6、7个房子，不要多，装个8个地刺，8个这个刺蛇，你6个房子就够了，对吧？投下去，好了，别人直接乱了，别人一乱回救，这个时候你的主力就可以去攻他其他的矿了。 他要守住这个8个刺蛇、8个地刺，要花很大的代价，特别是在路口这么一趴地刺。好了，人都傻了，因为地刺就空投的这个威力要比虫洞的威力要大多了。虫洞是你有可能是放不进去的，别人反应好一点，反应快一点，对吧？你就进不去了。不过蟑螂被绕的有点，但还好有个管子啊，但也只能骚扰一下这样的。 碰到的对手，任何对手都一样，因为你有飞龙的呀，你有飞龙的话，别人的房子就不会停在附近啊，对吧？不会有视野啊。你自己看现在大可你妈的旁边有没有视野嘛？没有任何视野的呀。你这时候变6个房子飞过去，妈的大个人都傻了好吗？ 虫洞的话是因为这样子的，就是你如果说你只要你这波部队，如果你虫洞进去的话，就点下的话，你这个部队的原因是你趴在那边，然后给自己打一个多线的找个机会，并且你的部队投入也不能太多，你投入太多的话，你正面是没有什么太多的一个兵力的。 对不对嘛？所以不需要虫洞，不需要投入虫洞，而且操作还繁琐。妈，大哥已经开始了呀！妈个鸡，不会他们这盘又是30分钟节奏吧？但这盘还好一件事情，就是雷诺第一时间按了7个飞蛇，他吸取了上一盘的教训。不，那地刺呢？你没地刺吗？你妈光有飞蛇，你这哎。 他他妈光有飞蛇没有地刺，这是什么理解啊？完了呀，GG 了呀已经。哦，雷诺你妈这个脑淤血了。
Oh, he's trying over here. The abducts, though, it's not into too much at all. The lurkers running over to that base, but that might be the wrong side.
这绝逼脑淤血了，这个。
Oh, they're not in vision of the spore crawler. That's such a
他直接拉。
or rather not a bad mistake, but such an error. And here, a big flank by Reynor.
但别人妈个蟑螂也很多啊，蟑螂。就算你吃掉这波又怎么样呢？你没有农民啦。 林诺还有最后一波反扑的机会，还有最后一波反扑，就他已经没有任何经济了，他还有波余钱。大个只要守住他就赢了。战斗人口是雷诺高很多啊。飞蛇吸满能量，这是雷诺最后的机会了。火蟑螂按到底。
He's not done. He's going to be making some more drones, and yet again, which I'm not surprised by.
他妈还大可为什么还在各种开矿嘛？你守住就不就赢了吗？杀那么多农民。 第一次往里埋是对的，稍微拖延点时间，利用防空拖时间变第四啊，这就要变第四，你不变第四你怎么守得住？真的矿是不要，真别开了矿，现在就是把兵按出来。你妈你矿你有命开有命踩，没命踩啊！ 人龙慢慢也是把农民补了起来了。Because every second that goes by, he is still up 20 workers, even after all the droning that Reynor has done. 大可这个局面要出门，除非是他也有至少3个飞蛇才有机会出门，不然的话他绝对出不了门的。对，你第一次就往里面爬，对吧？自己部队现在数量也起来了。 As much as you can reburrow and unburrow those lurkers or the spore crawlers, you can't really do that with the hatchery. 现在就拖时间啊，飞蛇出来了，那就不怕了。好嘞，我也可以拉你的呀，搞得跟真的一样。
That was quite a few healthy ravagers, and wow, Reynor's very prepared for these roaches that have tunneled their way across the map, and all of a sudden, Reynor's drone count not looking as unhealthy as it did a few minutes ago.
再往下，这个矿也有防守，也有防守。
Did get this fourth base online here.
主要大可有飞蛇了，这个就不好打了。有飞蛇就不好打了。
Especially if all the lurkers are a little bit further behind, the Vipers are going to start joining the
误一
fray.
把，
Lurker number 1 gets picked up, but it doesn't get picked off.
妈误的什么东西啊？误在妈的眼虫身上！
It's not going to do too much, but it is enough of a force that Reynor feels like he has to hit at a different angle.
农民是补起来了，农民。
I'm still a little bit worried for Reynor, but 10 more workers is going to allow him to get back to a place where he has a solid economy. Now, Roachworn and Hydra Den bleeding out. I'm not sure if Reynor is actually realizing.
从经济上来说的话，雷诺现在是占优势的。他有3片矿，大可其实只有1片半的矿，矿真的很少，而且雷诺的飞蛇数量还是非常可观的。但是雷诺有一个问题，就是他如果不停的进攻的话，他待会儿还是会遇到刚才的问题。大可虽然没有刺蛇，但是大可可以把你的这个飞蛇拉到自己防空阵营来。 拉到防空阵的话，其实飞蛇死得很快的。大可已经理解出这个 ZV 的精髓，就是防空。防空绝逼是 ZV 的精髓。
Reynor actually going to start getting into his own lurkers? Is he going to start getting into his own form of that high advanced tech?
不是飞蛇，那他不是有飞蛇的吗？
If he gets stuck on trying to kill him with Roach, Ravager, Hydra, Viper, I mean, technically.
没有，我没想到雷诺那么有韧性，真的没想到雷诺那么有韧性。他打的这种比我想象中有韧性多了。
Dark's army composition is absolutely good one. Now he's starting to work on his armor upgrades as well. What's the lurker count at right now?
现在这个局面反而雷诺优势很大了，他的这个经济太好了，从15个农民现在补到62个农民。但雷诺唯一的问题是他没有地刺，这是他最大的问题。那大可有20个地刺。
Remember, every one of these little run-bys, every time they're buying a little bit of extra space
for dark
and potentially
啊，真能打掉
？Are you kidding me? That hero Roach taking down the Hydra Den.
It's just a funny game at this point. 13 Vipers on the field for Reynor.
我今天晚上播到赛马吧，播了赛马我就睡觉去。最后一场我实在我估计我看不动了。
Right before it died, so now you can actually rebuild both the Hydra Den and have that Lurker Den still on the way, not delaying his own lurkers, which I really like.
Yeah, but this game is.
你看雷诺也只能转地刺，他也没办法，因为打到这个局面又变成了刚才的局面。你妈了个鸡，这2个狗逼真的能打。
Yeah,
I want to ask you something, Ben. That last game, we obviously saw a very, very long, drawn out.
飞蛇13条还是有点多，但是我 我还是认为13条飞蛇会有隐患，就是你一下子被误住了之后，你拉不开，那一下你就很难受了。
I mean, if Dark feels he can do it on this map, which so far it looks like he's doing a good job of it. He's a far better Zerg than I've ever be. So yeah, I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him. But Reynor is getting into those lurkers with the upgrades, and I do feel that his position here, even though it's a weird thing to say, it's better than it was on Hardwire. Like now he's got all these Vipers already done. Granted, no lurkers, which definitely sucks for him, but he's done such a good job of just shutting down everything that Dark's been trying to throw at him. Because these tunneled roaches, yeah, they've been doing damage, but they could have been doing a hell of a lot more. And if we look at the banks that accumulate in here, Dark, even though he's in okay shape, like he's not going to die anytime soon, it's still only on 4 bases. Third is mined out, by the way. He's practically a 1-base Zerg.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. I think that this is
雷诺现在慢慢有余钱了，而且他的这个部队的组成部分，其实现在就挺完美的。大概就是这波地刺，反正这波地刺没了就输了。哦，拉，好误2把，这雷诺妈有点难分开了。好，第一次直接上来，就这波地刺，他憋了20年。妈个鸡，哥你妈30年的苦练，不20年的苦练，终于派上用场了。飞车回来继续误呀！妈你飞车不能走的呀，飞蛇啊，兄弟啊！好了，这个三本也没了，3本没了就表示雷诺出不了出不了飞蛇了。他的飞蛇就这个数量。再来，你误一把漂亮，2个人各种误，但是打不过。大哥的这个大哥第一次刚才是有这个科技的，雷诺没有科技 ，GG。哇靠，这盘打的！你妈的 ZVZ， 你们2个不要打那么好呀，妈要死了 ZVZ！ 打你妈打那么好的
ZVZ。So many parasitic bombs landed, and when you've got that many lurkers, I don't think Reynor really knew what he was dealing with because he kept fighting, kept trying to deal damage, seeing the lurkers. But once they all accumulated and just darted across the map, I know that pain as a Terran player, Ravi. Once those lurkers get on top of you, you're in a lot of trouble. But oh my goodness, we're starting to see the first signs of frustration here on Reynor's face, and I'm not surprised. He's up against one of the greatest displays of ZVZ that we've ever seen.
Truly and surely, this is such a tough style for Dark to actually pull off effectively, especially against
我是不是应该你妈点个外卖？今天我感觉不整到个5点，不整到个5点，感觉今天是停不下来的。
You can see that Dark has just been staying so cool, so calm, so collected. Funny enough, and just missed it, but Dark was actually holding his own head. Holding his nose, just, I think, absorbing in the fact that these 2 games have probably even taken a lot out of him. But if he wins one more, whether it be a fast one or a very, very long one, Dark is going to be the one advancing on to the semifinals.
等一下打满5盘，我告诉你们。如果今天 Zero 雷诺这2个狗逼啊不是 Zero 的，是 Zero 和马路这2个狗逼，如果打满5盘，直播间的观众也得死。今天我就告诉你都得死。他们打满5盘没有个6点钟，今天没有6点钟，绝逼是结束不了的。因为他们每一把都会打到一个超大后期，然后你们就会看到。妈的，这个什么飞蛇、鬼兵、地刺，反正就这种部队。啊，你信我，你们信我，我心中还有一个隐患。其实我心中还有个隐患。你妈的 Hero 马运和 Sola 这2个狗逼，说不定到时候就会给我们先上演一场你妈的小那个小 Zero 打你妈的小马入，
really does feel like
先打他个他妈1个半钟头。
styles and almost personalities at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm curious as to what the fourth map will be for both of these guys. Berlingrad,
马路不会直接野兵的，你们信我。
Dark did handle it very well.
马路现在不是这种人。
Maybe Reynor needs to slow down a little bit. Maybe focus on the
明天有没有录像？明天就算有录像也会很晚，因为我今天我不可能去传录像。 明天等黄哥起来，他中午起来，然后去下载斗鱼的这个录像，然后再传到 B 站，只能这样子。
Dark has been the one throwing out the attacks and getting in Reynor's face first. I'm interested to see how things go.
We're getting on into it. Fourth map, life on the line. If you love him, if you support him, big, big cheers out there for Clash's Reynor.
Down here in the bottom left-hand side of the map, the blue Zerg player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming looking to kill yet another non-Korean player. He is Dark.
他妈，他们这个做的太他妈浮夸了，这个还是正常开啊。
This has been an absolutely killer day of StarCraft, killer couple of days of StarCraft, to be honest. We've had so many amazing matches and so many, I would say, patient but exciting matches the last, I would say, couple
这种局面打到现在这个样子，其实雷诺心里面其实心态有点崩。他输的那2盘其实他都是有优势的，这个绝逼心态很崩。
Reynor going up against Dark. Yeah, this is some of the best European ZVZ against some of the best Korean.
雷诺在最后一盘还是秉承了自己作为职业选手的一个继续性啊。血池的位置就是下在靠近入口的地方，这个位置就是为了防止大可有可能会什么12D all in 啊这种战术，他还做了这样的一个细节。
about Korean Zergs is being hyper aggressive in your face.
以前最早的时候，自由之意识的时候，包括重寻基因的时候，很多的玩家都觉得《星际争霸》是一个一波的游戏，然后取了个名字叫“一波争霸”。其实打到现在为止，就是也有一波的这种说法，但是呢，大部分都是打不死，真打不死，就双方水平差不多情况下，而且都在很高的一个位置的情况下，就是打不死。 打着打着就到大后期了。
Potentially, when you say it, like once it gets to the mid game, sure, but a lot of these crazy like roach builds, because we got to remember that it's Dark playing these early game all in for the roaches and stuff. Like that's the thing. Like Dark has felt very hard to read because he can flick this switch during the match, and maybe Reynor hasn't been truly allowed to play his game, like his game plan right from the start, and a lot of it can come down to counter prep and just anti-gaming. And I
还有这场打完，其实还有3场播舞，但是我觉得我播不了3场，就播2场，就这场打完再播2场播舞啊。
Practice and thinking, and it allows you to play the game that you've practiced for, as opposed to your opponent doing what they practice for.
Yeah, I really like that train of thought, and I think it has been a very, very strong theme in this series so far of Dark being able to set the pace of every single one of these games, whether it be with his early game aggression or his follow-up into the defensive play. It really does feel like Reynor is playing still an extremely
开局都一样，都是狗毒吧？看这个有没有人会压制啊？从这盘看，2个人好像都学乖了，都没有打算去压制对手。 其实前面几盘都是雷诺在出飞的，那这盘大可有没有可能出飞？哦呦，雷诺一防，因为这个比赛中啊，一防的开局就大多数都会选择一波的打法。
Reynor's the one with the very, in fact, they're both, look at that, simultaneously super early Roach Warrens going for different upgrades though. This is a funny situation.
大可飞龙了，那这盘我感觉雷诺应该没了。就从现在来看的话，因为一防的时间有点慢啊，不能说他一防的时间有点慢，我觉得是大可的这个，就他的这个2本的时间有点快。
attack missile upgrade.
对，他2本好了，完全可以直接下个龙塔。你下龙塔就按飞龙的时候，你这个一波估计还没有到门口。看到2本了，看他怎么打。蟑螂啊，那蟑螂倒还好，蟑螂就还好。反正雷诺看到你那么早的2本，肯定是一波按到底的呀。他要抓这个他要抓你这个飞龙的 timing。一般情况下，这个2本那么快的情况是应该是打出飞龙的，但是也有可能大哥看到雷诺侦查，就雷诺是侦查到了大哥的2本的时间，然后大哥觉得那你有可能会打我一波嘛，那我就对吧？换位思考一下，那我就出蟑螂，对吧？也有可能是这样子。
Reynor is bringing the fire in game 4.
This is going to be a really funny situation, though, because even though, despite all this, Reynor is going to start up his lair behind it, and he also has more drones, and he has more army supplies.
但这个只是象征性的一波，并没有按满，但也有点狠了。雷诺是有后手的，他家里面2本已经在升了。毒爆一定要留，毒爆不留的话，狗马上就晋升。大哥防得非常不错。好了，有蟑螂速度，有1攻。哎，绕狗有没有反应？漂亮，堵住了。大哥直接重动一波，不跟你讲道理。占了优势就直接一波，说明大哥也是很想快点拿下比赛，而且这个重动一波的位置相当好。啊，看得到吗？妈个鸡啊！这个意思是什么意思啊？他看到重动了吗？没看到重动吧
？He's been building quite a few drones here though, Ravi. He's up to 64, but is doing into an opponent that's done nothing but.
哎，雷诺没看到。啊，看到了，双线啊，压力有点大。大哥是一波到底的，家里面重动已经防住了，但这位置不是很好，被各种白打，大哥完全打不进去啊！雷诺的人口非常高。战斗数量其实差不了太多，但是雷诺经济很好啊。哇，直接莽上来了！你这个莽上来是不是过了？漂亮，看守住了。大哥在这种赛点的局面，其实自己也急了，明显就感觉急了。他只想快点拿下比赛。这种选手就算经历了那么多的比赛，其实在关键的时刻，心态还是会发生一些波动。
We see everything, obviously. Dark absolutely doesn't. Reynor did such a good job of just keeping Dark under pressure there.
Yeah, I mean, just a beautiful defense there, and I'm just amazed that Reynor was able to get up a superior worker count and a superior army count with all the upgrades actually just about to catch up in time for that attack, or right after the attack actually ended up finishing up. Now we have, like you said, that's
大哥这个有点劣了，就算他龙塔出来，他也没有几条飞龙可以造。雷诺就200人口蟑螂呀，干嘛？你又没几条飞龙的，你出个5、6条飞龙有什么意义嘛？你出好了，妈的给蟑螂挠痒痒呢。我200人口一波，这一波不猛吗？猛的一逼好吗
？He's getting all the upgrades right now. 2-2 on the way. Even getting Overlord speed.
妈，真的是回合制游戏。现在轮到雷诺来打一波了。这一波感觉要直接打死啊！6条飞龙就没有用。就完全就没有用6条飞龙，他根本就不用理你。 看到飞龙他只能打了呀，干嘛了？你出飞龙的，那你不死啊？把他拱进来，我靠！拉得很漂亮，击砸自己了。就是蟑螂多呀，没有别的东西，就是蟑螂多。出飞龙怎么可能守得住嘛？好了，家里面刺蛇他也在出，对吧？这波蟑螂把你拼完之后，杀点农民。你飞龙打嘛，6台飞龙打嘛。感谢这个无毒星蓝的2个飞机，感谢无毒星蓝。你下一波过去刺蛇都出来了，下一波就是蟑螂刺蛇。
So many drones going down, and these mutas are not in high enough numbers to threaten a massive counterattack. They don't have the ability to just wipe out a mineral line. You already mentioned the Hydras coming on out, but on top of that, there are war crawlers ready, there are defenses ready, and there are upgrades already finishing up over here for Reynor. Reynor already had a +1 carapace upgrade against Dark. He's gonna have 2 carapace upgrades against those mutas.
Yeah, and that helps a lot for these Hydras as well with dealing with them. And I dare say when Dark sees this,
绝望了，已经绝望了。这盘大哥不可能再翻了。妈随你，他叫 F2A， 这个局面换我来，妈的也赢了，随便赢，而且是老子只要有个 F2 键，有个 A 键就好了。
Ben, despite how incredible Dark's defensive capabilities have been in this series so far, I don't think Dark can hold this one. I will be amazed. I will be perplexed.
这种怎么可能让你？哎，你每个火蟑螂的火我都给你砸满贯，妈躲都不躲。妈刺蛇你妈站桩输出假的呢。GG 2-2，很生气啊，真的很生气。他就觉得妈个鸡，老子2盘优势，妈都输了，我靠。2-2 apiece, and regardless of what happens today, mate, they are both some of the best Zergs we've ever seen.
This could have been a grand finals, and I don't think anyone would have batted an eye or thought anything.
It has been grand finals before. It was the BlizzCon grand final where they were both the 2 best players in the world, pretty much. And here, meaning in the
这个比赛对于双方选手来说，心理压力非常的大。最后一盘了，对于双方选手来说，你看 Dark 这个样子，这个表情，其实他很少会出现这种表情的。就这种表情，就是代表他已经掌控不了这场比赛，他没有任何的把握能够在最后一场拿下雷诺。而且他在各种想战术，不能说想战术，在选择他的战术。最后一盘要怎么打？是不是要打一波？要不要有大心脏？如果最后一盘我打一波我输了，我打个12级我输了，我会不会对这场比赛我会后悔？
Oh, by golly, by golly. Can you imagine? Right now, both these players guaranteed $20,000. Moving on to the next stage guarantees you $40,000. And for both these players, with how well they're actually playing, the world's the limit. $170,000 is first
这周末的确来的观众还是挺多的。
From each step onwards. Both of them want it, but more so than the money, the prestige. Reynor, the reigning Katowice champion. Dark, pretty much the reigning BlizzCon champion, which, you know, he's going to be forever pretty much at this point. But yeah, crazy stuff to think about.
雷诺你妈的这种，我告诉你，这种就是你妈败人品。 妈个鸡！这种那么关键的时候，还有你根本就应该全神贯注的关注在比赛中，不可能再去关注到观众对你有什么就欢呼声啊什么的。这时候应该是心如止水的，这种就败人品。妈个鸡！雷诺已经输了。你就看着，现在笑得多开心，待会儿输了之后，他妈的到有多伤心，你们就看着。
Absolutely. Dark sat there ready, poised, What will the final map be between these two players?
你看大可就是很正常，就是全神贯注，只关注比赛，场外一切发生的事情跟他都没有关系，就是心如止水，就想最后一盘我要选择的战术，然后选择好了之后，我要想这个应对的方式，对吧？想对方会怎么来应对我的战术，他应该这样才对啊。你看他满脑子都在想，他这个表情就满脑子都在想之后最后一盘要怎么打。
It absolutely could be. I mean, what's left in the pool? We've got Blackburn, Curious Minds, and then I'm doing that pro gamer thing where it's like I have no freaking idea about the last map.
Yeah, I'll let you stay on that ledge yourself there, Ben. I'm feeling fine over here, not attempting.
I was just thinking about the maps that are still in the pool, and I was thinking about Beckett, but obviously that's not there. Anyhow, guys, we're going to go to a short break and let these players sort out their stuff. Stay tuned.
但是呢，哎，这什么东西啊？怎么你妈的突然一下子来了个你妈失败者？要休息3分钟啊！这你妈突然一下子来了个失败者，我靠！这次的比赛也算是近2年吧，应该2年吧，有2年了，对，2年，近2年来唯一一次就是全世界的这种线下的大赛。所以说选手其实有些选手其实还不适应这种线下大赛，因为他们已经很久没有参加这种线下大赛了。明年就今年的这个 IEM 分站赛啊，有2届线下赛已经确定了，一届是西班牙的那个瓦伦西亚，还有一届是在美国的亚特兰大。就是说中间如果说疫情不会就突然一下子很猛的情况下，就是这样子的。但他们一般我觉得国外估计。他们确定了，估计就要做了。所以说，我们国手今年还有至少呢要出去2次。他妈全是重灾区，这我觉得除了国内，其他地方都是重灾区。今天没有现场连线，不可能连线，我怎么连线？牛子哥你妈的现在还自闭着呢，我靠，怎么连？而且迎接他的是3月9号这个不确定的航班能不能飞？回来之后还要隔离差不多1个月。黄哥最近身体不好，大家有时候真的不要去带这种节奏，没有必要，对不对？你想想他以前也拼过嘛，年纪到了，真的年纪到了，所以以后黄哥只能在前半夜给大家带来快乐了，只能起码在前半夜当小丑了，而且解说比赛其实很累的。玩游戏倒还真没那么累。
I've been waiting for that matchup for like 4 years now, for real. At least on land, you know, where they're both on absolute equal terms. But
为什么因为没有航班呀，就 ESL 给他定的最早的航班就是3月9号的航班，没办法，他跟鸡哥都一起回来的。
Potentially $170,000 for either one of these. $20,000 extra just.
老子不是小丑，再说一遍，老子妈的绝对不会当小丑的。 好了，决胜局啊，我们来看一下。不是这样的，如果我有一天啊，如果也是因为播太久，然后晚上妈的这种心脏痛啊，这种心绞痛啊，然后去了趟医院的话，我估计我也会跟黄哥一样，我也会很养生了。这种就是你这种凌晨就感觉心脏不舒服或者身体哪里不舒服，然后去医院急诊，妈这种一个人躺在这种急诊室里面这种感觉。你就会发现，其实这种熬夜通宵播比赛也没有那么重要。感谢诺美秋的飞机啊，这是实话嘛？这是实话。
The amount of respect that both these guys have gained for one another just goes through the roof.
100%. I am almost a little bit grateful that it is the unbiased game of StarCraft, something that does not care about your history or anything that decides who's going to advance on.
毕竟我跟你说，我跟他两个人，我39，他40嘛，妈的后半生还有很长一段路要走呢，而且现在都是上有老下有小的，对不对？妈都是家中的顶梁柱，保养一下自己，对吧？很正常，真的很正常。
Reynor, Dark, Solar coming up next against Hiramarine. Still have Cyril obviously.
也就20年，毛你妈的，老子我没打算活很久，对吧？你至少给我活到个75岁，我觉得我就满足了，因为我的身体的确也不是很好，对吧？就希望以后的日子不要有太多的病痛，对不对？这就是我的一些想法。
Who has been the person to attack first? Who has been the person to put pedal to the metal and say, let's start cranking out some units, getting across the map and seeing what we can get done? And it has actually been a little bit of
说实话感觉有点难。
Both of these players have been the aggressor in different situations. Even in the situations where we went hyper late and defensive, it has also been dark oftentimes.
好了，我们继续回到比赛中啊，待会我跟你们扯。我们来看一下。毒爆虫的时间还是都一样的。其实 ZVZ 对于 OB 来说，我怎么判断战术，还是要看这个 BV 里面的攻防。他们这种级别的，就最顶尖级别的，就不可能有狗毒爆一波打死的这种情况，所以说他们肯定不可能用这么简单的战术。决胜局双方应该会求稳，不会打得太太浪。
For a second there, sorry, I got a little.
Yeah, I was waiting.
I was a little like, oh my god, is he skipping? But no, he certainly isn't. Speed finishes up for both players. Dark going for his Evo around the same time that he did in the game before.
一防大多数都是打一波。雷诺这盘还是想拼一枪。
For those who did not see it, there was a half a second where Dark started a burrow, decides to cancel that instead.
哎，退了一攻，那两个人拼蟑螂了呀，这盘拼蟑螂了。那这种局面其实就看前期谁能偷得过谁了。那往死里按农民。他就往死里按农民了，现在妈个鸡，我反正两眼一闭 SD。看到2本了，这条狗很精髓，看到2本就提供了一个很好的信息，就是你不会打一波。所以雷诺只要稍微有点毒爆就行。大可其实也一样，他这波狗爆了之后，然后家里面还是会补农民的，就逼你爆波狗。没装好啊，补刀啊！我靠，3个农民还行吧，还行吧，但压力给的很到位啊。 两个人各种在穿啊，6个啊也能接受，我觉得也能接受。雷诺农民补的比较多一点，也能接受。雷诺狗没补那么多啊。再进去穿看一下科技。而且这盘雷诺其实他的这个反应啊是有些过度的，其实他的这个毒爆数量太多了。哎，这什么意思啊？哎，啊，有反应，行吧。蟑螂飞龙。那雷诺不会出飞龙的呀，这个局面雷诺就是我反正待会儿眼虫我会侦查一下的，我侦查到你龙塔我就你看来了，是不是来了？我侦查到你飞龙，我就出四合塔一放，然后打算跟你打3本运营了。出地次升3本。大哥这个飞龙其实出的并不是很好。我说真的，不是很好，因为你出飞龙这波经济啊，你至少这个飞龙要出个6条吧，600，对吧？你600一出。那别人的话，这个直接去跳刺蛇，因为你到最后你还是会转到刺蛇地刺这个地方来。但这盘呢，应该会打得比较久。不，这盘我觉得雷诺现在是优势。雷诺优势。
I'm very curious what Dark's going to do. He is obviously saving up some resources for a few meters, and that is exactly what he's going to go for. And Reynor wants to spot.
而且雷诺很稳，他再看一遍你到底有没有爆蟑螂，你的飞龙什么时候出来？如果你爆蟑螂的话，就说明你不出飞龙，你直接蟑螂一波，200人口蟑螂一波，非常的稳健。第一次打也是第一时间下，3本的科技也比大哥快，因为大哥出了飞龙嘛，他还是损失了很，就不能说损失吧，还是浪费了很多的这个经济。你的飞龙现在出来只能杀点房子，也就这样了。
A lot of roaches being made. The +2 missile attack upgrade also, and just more or less of non-stop roaches being added on over here for Dark as he adds on a ton more. Maybe looking to make a little attack with +2 weapons.
I think Dark's planning on doing a similar thing.
蟑螂打又打不进去，现在。飞龙牵制你，他稍微防一下，第一次就出来了。稍微的防一下，而且本身来说的话，这个雷诺的蟑螂数量也不少。雷诺飞龙飞蛇第4完保未必，我告诉你们，上2盘是因为优势太大了，输的那2盘优势太大了，所以他打得很急。你看他还在看，确认到你只有2本的科技，那这个时候地就变起来了呀，你肯定要打一波了呀。大可打得有点急躁。这个地次变了之后，你的蟑螂火蟑螂待会儿其实没有太多用处，但地次有点变晚了。蟑螂火蟑螂先守一守，哎，这火蟑螂的位置有点二，要等地次出来，对吧？把这个矿守住就行。这矿不能掉，这矿不能掉，这矿绝对不能掉。地次出来了，但有可能被强行打掉。但是你如果说蟑螂送在这儿的话，那就没问题。走，飞龙过来吃火蟑螂，我靠！女王呢？怎么第4还是输出的蛮爽的一逼啊！他的女王到哪去了嘛？女王从下面走过来了，雷诺这个操作有点失误，但虽然说正面打赢了，本来女王如果从正面有军坦的地方走过来的话，这个女王很快就到位了。雷诺本来就优势啊，只是说刚好大哥刚才抓了一个你出地次的 timing， 没有出到的 timing， 然后打了一波。
Dark's playing catch up tech-wise at this point. He's starred in his hive now. He's starred in that lurker den.
你看你现在你到最后大哥还是会走回刺蛇地次这样的一个组合，他没办法，这个的确是这样子。
Just a little bit more than his opponent, but Reynor, yeah, if he can amass quite a lurker squad here, which he absolutely can, Dark isn't able to break him. This might turn into a very, very stalematey sort of game at this point.
然后雷诺的这个不管是地次的科技，包括他的地次的射程、速埋、3本的飞蛇，每一步方方面面都要比大河要快。大河又开始骂猥琐了，这个狗逼我靠！这也没办法，他的确只能猥琐，那么不猥琐他打个毛。
Dark's doing everything he can with these mutas, by the way. He's killing drones, he's killing creep tumors. Reynor's also trying to deal a little bit of damage with his roaches, gets to see that lurkers are out for Dark as well. And Dark, maybe that was a scary period of time there, but sniping that hatch and just kind of catching back up on the tech-wise, very good for him, and he will start his Viper production now. I'm not
你说现在要想办法把5矿开起来，其实双方都要想办法把5矿开起来。
If you are a Reynor fan, we know what happened in the previous couple of games when this kind of situation started to sell, and it wasn't pretty. But he just started up his own Vipers now. That's very important.
Oh boy, Ben, I was laughing and chuckling because I saw all the sport callers coming down for Dark.
这局面已经不是短期内就能解决战斗的这个局面了，因为双方这边谁都没有办法打得进去，只能说拆矿，我觉得是可以的。有一个地次，但可以强行打。女王先打掉，农民再打。他妈就一个地次啊！你如果2个地次的话，这还稍微虚一虚。那一个地次有什么好虚的？哎呦，可以。这段时间大可打出了一个小高潮，矿也拆了，然后还顺便甩了2个地次，一波农民。但依旧雷诺依旧是一个优势。
This becomes a matter of gas at this point. Who can get more of it? Who can keep more of it alive as well when it comes to the game of who can.
经常去那家烧烤店，妈个鸡，老子今天中午刚去过，我靠，那叫什么农夫好牛，有3家分店杭州，你们可以去，每家分店都一样的。虽然我没有去过别的分店。雷诺是意大利的选手。大可这个狗皮就是等着雷诺来送。
Nice little snipe off over here from Reynor. I think he should be able to get this hatchery without too many problems.
This was like the first base of Dark I've seen in a while that wasn't covered in spore crawlers and lurkers.
Yeah.
Like Reynor's probably as surprised as we are with the fact that that was as easy as it was. But for Dark in this series, it hasn't felt like he needed 5 bases. It was like, okay, I need 3 or 4 really to get going. So even though it's a sigh of relief for Reynor, just keep him at bay.
哎，你们自己
Dark is very dangerous.
味道可以，你们自己如果说有兴趣喜欢吃烤肉的，自己去吃吧，真的还可以。
Yes, he's being the aggressor again and finding these little pickoffs. So I think he's being a bit more.
又开始猥琐防守了，妈了个鸡！这把我觉得。啊，我觉得估计也要打个25分钟吧。大哥不会出门的呀，这个局面他绝对不会出门的，他出门搞毛啊！他妈占一片矿，然后防空爬满，妈地次一埋，好了，飞蛇，然后等着你来冲，欢迎来搞。
It's worth picking up and adjusting and attuning your play. But Reynor's been trading more efficiently this game.
波兰现在时间8点吧，晚上8点，你们就往后，你们就减7个小时。波兰就海洛维兹现在就是8点钟。
In fact, I almost forgot what it was called now, but he did throw a Nidus out against Reynor. Yes. Glittering Ashes, obviously. Oh, Ben, your brain, you're getting old, you're getting old.
It's been a long day and a long series, Ben. Don't worry about it.
那不冲啊，那雷诺不冲的，这个局面雷诺不可能冲的，最后一盘他肯定冷静下来的呀。他怎么可能去冲嘛，对吧？前面有一盘就是冲，把自己冲死了，他为什么要去冲？大可是虫洞直接地次埋家，有没有反应？哎，没反应哎。啊？啊，就2个。
Again, I have PTSD from this kind of situation as a Terran player. Oh, okay.
大可估计自己都没想到，你妈这个虫洞能成功，你知道吧？所以他你妈就2个。啦。 但还是被第一次塔了呀！他你妈自己都没想过这个虫洞能成功，你敢信？这种虫洞只要进去就很伤，但还好没有眼虫啊，还是守住了。守住就没问题啊，这个因为还是看存款嘛，而且雷诺现在这盘不会冲，不会冲的话，那大家都就马防空嘛，对，马防空，然后拼飞蛇，其实最后。每一波冲下来，估计消耗的就几个地刺，然后全部的飞蛇，估计这样子。大家马嘛，我才不冲呢！我靠！妈，这场赢了多少钱？这场赢了是，我看一下，这场赢了多少钱？这场赢了好像是4万刀吧，进4强。对啊，进4强你妈4万刀，8强2万刀，对的，这场赢了你妈的多2万刀呢。多他妈的大哥多这2万刀，你妈的还不够他屌的呀！泡菜你妈的都能吃很久，好不好？那就等于免费吃2年泡菜，3年泡菜。大哥其实想的就是我等你冲啊，我就等你冲，对吧？你来冲我吧，我就这么回事了。
He's not playing. Oh my goodness, that was a right meat grinder. But Reynor's postured not to be super aggressive here. He's just trying to slow down Dark, really hold him on this side of the map. He's even got an army posture.
对啊，泡菜自由。
He is getting ready to hit from multiple sides and forcing Dark to be ready on multiple different angles. All the Vipers are down over here on the south side for Dark. But he's also got a ton of spores, a handful of
拉呀，能拉什么拉什么呀！妈的，眼虫也可以拉的呀，你不然你能拉什么呢？他还想拉地刺。现在不要管对方有什么，你就想能拉什么拉什么就可以了。对不对？你那么在意去拉地刺没有用的，就耗嘛，现在就是耗。他妈蚂蚁再小也是肉啊！哇靠！你就你这种在这边埋着，你不就是插了对方对吧？插了对方3个管子嘛，3个防空，你把防空误了，然后直接拉地刺不就好了吗？误一把有那么难吗
？Multiple different angles or constantly trying to posture around. It really does feel like he's a bit more content just saying I'm going to sit outside over here.
这就被各种耗。
雷
诺只要不莽，我觉得就没问题。每个矿多插点防空和地堡。
Game that Reynor is playing where he's actually willing to just say, yeah, you really want to draw this out? Sure, but I am mining more than you. I have a bigger bank than you. And as long as I stay defensive over here and don't overcommit,
好了，这可以拉了，这可以拉，但拉不到什么东西啊。其实雷诺这个在门口是很愚蠢的一件事，别人这个地刺不是那个飞蛇，只要能量吸完了之后就过来干你，你就没办法，你能怎么办？你又冲也冲不进，对吧？冲进去的话，别人有防空，打眼虫快的一批，打这个飞蛇也快的一批。我跟你们说了 ，ZVG 到最后就是拼的就是防空呀，防空是个 MVP 的兵种啊！你看这个防空打眼虫快不快？绝逼比刺蛇快好吗？这个防空。转牛有什么用啊？转牛，你妈的牛进去不是被地刺割成弱智啊？这时候你们要说误地刺，那你们有没有想过一件事情呢？他那么多防空的情况下，你把地刺一误，然后下面的防空把你眼虫一打，你还是打不了地刺。你有没有想过这件事情呢？
really do need to go to a different place. There, people do need them.
Certainly.
而且牛太贵了呀，牛，你妈你这牛如果打不进去的话，那岂不是人没了？大家都在比防空，现在就是防空牛逼，在那个 ZVZ 的后期，防空太牛逼了。
Dark's bank is definitely amassing as well, but the gas bank definitely better for Reynor.
Yeah, that gas bank is going to be massively in favor of Reynor for the moment, but if this base does go up,
牛有狗贵，那我觉得，可能牛可能贵一点吧。大哥现在就跟你打耐心，那这防空打这个房子很快的，你一波你就算一波变个15个、20个眼虫，冲他这个防空阵，一下子你防空就没了。飞蛇看你冲过来，飞蛇一把雾，然后你防空你只能往前走，对，你说你要散 ，OK 让你散，但是那么多的防空你怎么办？只能慢慢耗，耐心一点，大家慢慢来，对不对？转什么都没用，这就是这样 ZVZ 的一个困境。你看快不快嘛？打起来。变大龙有什么？变大龙我在防空阵里面，我飞蛇把你大龙拉过来不就好了吗？根本就不用防空阵，我刺蛇站在下面把你拉过来不就好了吗？你大龙有什么用？什么都没用。我很早就跟你们说了，这个 ZVZ 的这个终极组合就是这个刺蛇第一次带这个飞蛇，然后现在发现妈防空妈的更牛逼。
Not to Reynor's notice, and we end up seeing this hatchery in the bottom right going to be going down. We could even see a few more units going down, or 4 more bases in this bottom right-hand side.
That's not a bad little catch from Dark, is it? Taking out a base here. Granted, these lurkers are almost forfeit at this point, but they do take quite a little bit of focus here to clean up, which we are seeing.
就是耗，现在就是耗，妈能耗一个耗一个。大克已经掌握了这个防空的作用。你看它这个防空的数量，你就看得出它的这种 ZVZ 的风采。所以说它的 ZVZ 后期是非常强的。很多的虫族都没有意识到这个 ZVZ 后期防空的重要性。大克快没气了，不重要呀，大克没气了，他上面不是还在有矿吗？慢慢憋呀。你妈打到最后，大家把矿憋完了之后，对吧？谁冲谁死，我也不冲，妈的，要么就平局。总有人会冲的呀。雷诺只是说这盘打的比上前面的要冷静一点，他没冲。你说气矿存在巨大差距，其实就是一波飞蛇的事儿。你飞蛇多按几波，你这气就用完了。现在大克的确在气方面是有很大的问题，所以他不会冲的呀。他怎么可能会冲嘛？有可能平局的，你们不要说真有可能平局，因为打到最后大家都不冲，反正我就防空第一次飞蛇，你来嘛！你妈的用地次再拼一个 come out 北极，对不对？看谁耗得过谁。
Beating Dark at his own game and maybe adding Reynor's twist to it. So immediately with that south base, trying to grab the gases, trying to mine him out a little bit.
I think that absolutely makes sense. And we do see Dark making quite a bit of progress. Being abducted on both sides. We're also seeing blinding clouds coming down on both sides as well. At the end of the day, it does look like a lot of trades happen. I actually feel like the battle reports are abduct battles that are going on back and forth between both of these players.
没有平局不是没矿产，而是平局是到最后大家都觉得打不进去了，没有办法，对吧？没有办法去取胜了。 然后这个时候会有一方的选手提议要不要平局，但这个人绝对不是雷诺，因为雷诺有那么多钱，他绝对不会提平局的。现在说平局还太早，要说平局至少再过20分钟再说平局这件事情，现在说平局太早了。雷诺至少8000的气。
Oh, again, Viper trades going down in the north here. Reynor still with a very healthy Viper count of his own, and yeah, it might be a little bit far away from the gas, and that's the all-important resource at this point, because look at Dark. His gas getting pretty low at this point, and every unit matters. Every overseer that gets yoinked, that's
其实这个比赛到最后关键的点是这个右下的这2片矿，右下2片矿会决定整场比赛会朝什么样的这个局面发展。现在就是左上这边雷诺没有办法攻进来，那右下大可有没有机会把雷诺的矿拆掉？他如果要在资源上追平的话，只有说把这个右下的矿权，你看又是飞龙，又是那个防空，他只有把右下的矿全部拆掉，然后把自己这个右下的矿开起来，这样的话才能够打。
Maybe surpassing it when it comes to defensive play almost, which is
crazy to think
about.
Yeah, Ben, I'll have to take a look at the exact timestamps of how long the series has been going on, but I do remember
这帮狗逼我靠！不过 ZVZ 也没办法 ，ZVZ 就是这样子。明天有事的兄弟早点睡吧，我觉得没必要在这里拼一枪，这个拼一枪。哦。
By Reynor getting some massive pickups here.
Until that happened, I thought Dark was absolutely finding his way back into this. But as soon as that happened, Dark's head, he knew he made a little bit of a mistake there, a bit of a boo-boo. You saw it absolutely shift.
Gas bank is gone. Dark actually has.
真的，这明天如果有事的话，可以稍微早点睡，真的是可以稍微早点睡。因为我现在从我的角度来说，我暂时在，我不说10分钟啊，至少5分钟以内，这场比赛是不会结束的。大可只能守，他没有别的选择。今天周日啊，那你们陪着我吧。妈个鸡，老子什么时候睡啊？你们就什么时候睡觉，都不准给我走。其实我有一点想不通的地方，就是其实，对于大可来说，你妈的刺蛇也是带气的部队，你拉呀，你拉有什么拉什么呀？又不是没有视野。他有那个拟态虫的呀，你有什么拉什么，对不对？妈个鸡就拉起来，什么都可以拉，到最后就耗。感谢神射手折别的飞机，感谢兄弟啊！但你有什么拉什么？我靠！为什么要在意这个兵种的气含量的多少呢？还有就大可一直没有处理掉雷诺的这个左下的矿，雷诺左下3片矿，6个气5个气应该是，各种在踩。你稍微对吧？分点部队过去不就打掉了吗？你让他踩了太多时间了。好了，现在去了，现在终于去了。也必须去，他不去不行。好了，这一下子2边矿全拆。你冲，这边没有气矿了，现在主要是打气矿。钱倒不是说特别重要。早就应该去了，而且不应该去那么多，你稍微分点这个刺蛇地刺去就行了。你去那么多导致你现在有点守不住。对，你一拆了别人4片矿。 你让他踩得太久了，都没什么气矿了这里。这个是大哥很大的一个失误，他一直想着龟缩，就没想过怎么去把这个局面翻回来。下面抢下来之后，大哥现在又要开始猥琐了。妈的，可以想象雷诺他妈待会儿赢了之后，绝逼是跳到天上去，绝逼跳到天上去。
Reynor down to 12 drones.
Well, thankfully he does have close to a 9K 9K.
现在换大克来守右下的矿。大克这盘应该是没了，应该是没了。
It's going to take a little bit of time, but time is what he has, or maybe not. Reynor's sharking around. Reynor, I love the fact that he's getting more lurks in the mix, realizing how many.
雷诺再怎么跟你换，对不对？这种8000前8000气，我随便怎么换，对吧？我多你1倍战术，多你2倍战术，老子3个地次换你1个地次，那都能把你冲下来。
I think that was a really good move by Dark to go for it.
I think part of the problem here, though, is that it's not just a gas limitation for Dark. He's also down to 800 minerals as well. I think he needs more drones to actually keep up with how often these two players are trading. Because I actually think, in terms of how often Vipers are getting abducted, or Lurkers are getting abducted, or Hydras are getting picked off.
飞蛇不能吃亏啊！飞蛇吃亏的话，大哥就瞬间死亡。其实我已经可以恭喜大克，恭喜雷诺进入4强了。
I didn't quite get that.
I think these players are losing more resources.
大克已经节节败退。
Per minute, basically. I think that Dark is actually going to slowly start losing army supply because I don't think he can replace it fast enough.
Potentially, but we'll see what he can muster here because. It's so hard to attack, man, and as long as he has Spore Crawler fields and stuff, and if Reynor gets impatient, all it takes is for one move to go awry on his side, and even things like this, every time that Reynor takes a fight.
这个局面唯一说大克有赢面的机会，就是大克这个下面2片矿，对吧？都开始踩，然后各种的防守猥琐，然后雷诺不停的冲。而且大哥要操作非常好的情况下，才能有那么点机会，能够把这个局面翻回来。还是那句话，就是双方的这个经济差距太大了。这种交换都有损失的情况下，雷诺经济好的情况下，其实你就很难受。现在大概就守这下面2片矿。真的，刺蛇也可以拉，眼虫也可以拉，都可以拉，对不对？你要确保自己的飞蛇在一个安全的距离，至少不要让自己的飞蛇去送。为了拉一个地次，如果去送一条飞蛇就没有意义了。
cost-efficient trades, but if he can find a way to break through, there is a timing window where if he breaks through, Dark is not going to have enough of a bank to actually replenish it.
大可下面2片矿踩起来的话，像这种地次就没有必要去干扰了，因为现在你的这个大可的这个经济太差了，你的一个地次要当别人3个地次甚至4个地次来用，你不能这样送的。飞蛇大可也少于对手，只有5条飞蛇，对手有8条飞蛇。雷诺各种拉，你看雷诺现在就想得很穿，有什么拉什么，对吧？我要确保我自己飞蛇是就比较安全的就可以了，把你拉2下，你的节奏就乱了。但大个不一样，大个想的是我要拉你，我首先拉你飞蛇，第二我要拉你这个地次。我飞蛇本来就少，我不能因为你看这种节奏乱了呀已经。
like you might be wondering, well, why doesn't Dark back off? Why doesn't he get to his spore crawlers and stuff? I think he's really utilizing the vision on this watchtower, but he's going in for it. Yeah, he certainly is. He realizes that maybe Reynor overstepped.
哦呀，这个送的。
Oh my goodness, Reynor's trading really well in some of these engagements.
大概应该知道自己应该已经输掉了比赛。
Which is going to be tough with only 3 of those Vipers. It is going to be really tough to find an engagement into that kind of number of lurkers. More of these Vipers getting picked off. 2 Vipers remaining now for Dark, and he's actually just replenishing almost entirely on Hydras. And his bank is gone. He has no more minerals. He has next to no gas. He's continuing to mine off of these remaining bases, what workers he has. But at this point, these following engagements are going to be
每一次拉，现在对于大哥来说压力都很大。
That is not a fair fight at all, Ravi.
而且明显我感觉大可现在有点不敢去拉，不敢去跟对方的飞蛇进行交换。这就是他为什么一直在操作上吃亏。他要确保自己一定能拉到对方飞蛇的情况下，他才会去。这个局面可不是说什么你今天什么横跨乌江，把我出兵点占了就结束了。大哥这是最后一次拼搏了，他一定要横跨乌江，然后去占出兵点，让你来冲我的第4阵。哦呀，飞蛇，哇靠，全倒飞蛇。别人有矿呀，他妈别人家里有矿，那么多的钱，干嘛了？你打完一波，我直接马上就200人口了，还有那么多飞蛇，稳住就行了呀。你看人口一下子飙到180，输了。结束了，这还是打存款。哎，恭喜雷诺啊，终于是艰难的以3-2的比分战胜了何素飞。何素飞也不容易啊。不过这比赛其实也该雷诺赢，因为雷诺输的那2盘都是优势，然后被翻。好，雷诺妈的现在彻底疯狂了，哥你妈的上来已经说哥要赢。
Absolutely unbelievable. Reynor battling his heart out for literal.
大可其实这盘最大的问题就是他让右下角那3边框一直踩太久了，让雷诺，而且右下角是没有任何防守的情况下。帅的一逼，我靠，雷诺虎背熊腰。
Big round of applause from the crowd. Took 2 to tango anyhow. We get to hear from the champ himself. Take it away, Smix.
Thank you very much to Muslim. What a fantastic.
好了，我们来听一下雷诺的采访。我稍微休息会儿，兄弟们。
This series could easily have been the grand finals. The caliber of play coming out from both of you. I can't even imagine what is going through your head right now.
Honestly, I don't know, Smix. I'm a bit confused. Like, this series was a banger, and the last game, I don't know what happened. I was like, okay, you want to play this game, buddy? Let's camp. Sure. I'm gonna take it slow as well, mine you out, you know. That was my thought process. Like, the first game and the second game, I was very impatient. I was, you know, usual me. And then last game, I took a play from Sarah's book, and I was like, okay, let's sit back a bit and relax, you know.
It was such a roller coaster to watch. You mentioned it yourself. Let's just start with talking about Hardwire. That was a game where it really, truly looked like it was going to be GG for you. And then we saw how hard Dark held on. You just kept throwing your units at him. He would not die. What was going through your head as he just stayed alive?
I mean, this guy doesn't die again. Like, these Koreans are hard to destroy, you know. And but I'm not used to playing against this style because no one in Europe really camps. And you know, shout out to Lambo as well, because he messaged me and he's like, hey, take it slow, just mine him out, and you know, you're gonna beat him eventually, because he wants me to attack into him. Yeah. So yeah, I just took it slow, did what he said. Coach Lambo coming in clash once again, you know.
And then headed into map 3 on Berlingrad. You had an insane hold when he came and attacked. I feel like everyone that was watching was sure that you were gonna die, but you stayed alive. But then it was like as the game went on, Dark just started playing out of his mind again. I mean, what was happening there?
I don't know. I wanted to leave the game in 5 different stages of that game. I was so done. Like when he kills my third base and I see roaches and I have nothing, I'm like, damn. And then he almost breaks me and I'm like, damn. But yeah, wild game. I don't know what to say. Honestly, very confusing from my point of view. I was dead. Then I'm ahead. And then I'm dead again, like, what is going on? So yeah, I actually don't know what happened in that game, honestly.
I think it says everything that I have to ask about. Yet another map I have to, 2000 Atmospheres, the final map of this series. I think everyone, again, was just biting their nails, so curious about who was going to come out on top. He had the lurker count advantage, but you did such a good job. You were so damn rich, and eventually we saw that that was such a huge reason about how you came out on top. But, you know, were you sure that you were going to come out at the end, or were you unsure during that entire match?
Honestly, when EA moved me with the lurkers, I was getting Thunderbird vibes from me versus Yona, but from the different point of view, you know. This is the YOLO EA moved the lurkers all over again. But no, eventually I held on. I had like 16 Vipers, 5k, and as soon as I saw he had no Vipers, I was like, damn, this is it.
Well, that was some world-class ZVZ, and now you are through to the semifinals. You're going to be facing either Solar or Hero Marine, knowing that it's going to be one of these two opponents. What do you think about your chances about making it to the grand finals this year?
As I said at the beginning, you know, I'm always confident. I mean, going into a series not being confident, I think is just asking to lose. So, you know, I'm always confident. Obviously, I'd rather play against Solar because who wants to play against Big Gabe? You know, no one would want it. So yeah, looking forward to the Big Gabe win, and hopefully he loses though, because I really don't want to play him. So yeah.
Give it up one more time. Reynor through to the semifinals here at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
好，等下一场，Solar 对